I'm very excited to share with you today Mickey and the Magical Map. The show is slated to open this summer, and it's a 25-minute musical spectacle featuring Mickey and several of our most beloved Disney characters. There's some original music as well as some great classic Disney songs that have been rearranged and reorchestrated to feel really fresh and fun and contemporary. We have an amazing team working on this show, and we're really excited that particularly the Fantasyland Theater is being refurbished. Our princesses are getting a new home, so it's great to be able to bring a wonderful new entertainment experience to our park. I think you all know storytelling is always at the heart of everything that we do here at Disneyland, and no place more than Fantasyland does that really come to life. So this is an opportunity to really bring those characters back and embrace you in a story in a fun new way. So our story begins in the mysterious workshop of Yen Sid, who is the sorcerer from Fantasia. And on this day, when we walk into the theater, we see this kind of wonderful, magical workshop environment, and there's a big, big map that has been covered with a giant cloth. We hear a beautiful musical prologue, and the cloth begins to unveil sparkly material everywhere and reveals this gorgeous, beautiful, magical map. Now the map, of course, is a big, innovative theatrical trick. It's actually a giant LED screen that is treated to look very painterly, very much, not technical at all, but really embrace that aesthetic of Fantasyland. And of course, it's able to do many, many tricks. There are stairs on either side that allow our ensemble to come up and down, as well as multiple layers within the map itself that allow for performers to walk on different levels. And of course, the map can open and split, it animates and comes to life in many unique and fun ways. But as we arrive, we see the image of Yen Sid, the sorcerer from Fantasia, and he welcomes us, and he explains that today is a really magical day. They're just about to put the finishing touches on his newest creation, this magical map that allows dreamers to go anywhere in their imagination. There's just one spot left to be painted. And we go into an opening number called Journey into Imagination, where our ensemble begins to appear. And they're map makers. They work with Yen Sid. They're sort of magical. They all have these incredible paint brushes. And everything that you see, they'll begin to paint and bring to life. And through the number, they begin to activate the map, and you see things start to swirl. Paint is really a heavy image in the show, and it's all about this notion of animation and paint and the magical quality that it has. As the number starts to soar and build, at the end of it, Mickey arrives. He's in his sort of sorcerer's apprentice outfit, but he's a young apprentice. He hasn't quite become an official apprentice yet, and more than anything, Mickey wants to be this apprentice. And he arrives carrying buckets of paints for his colleagues to begin painting, and he puts them down and he sees that there's one brush left. And he thinks, well, maybe if I pick up that brush, I can. And Yen Sid, of course, reminds him that, Mickey, you're not yet an apprentice. You have to learn the secret of the map. You're not ready yet. And Mickey's very disappointed. He really wants to do this. And at the end of the number, all the map makers leave, and Mickey's there alone. And he realizes there's this one little spot on the map that still hasn't been painted. And he wonders out loud, and he thinks to himself, well, maybe if I paint that little spot, I can prove to Yen Sid that I really should be an apprentice, and I can make myself, courageous in his view. So he picks up the paintbrush, and he starts to go to the spot and paint it. And of course, the spot comes to life. And the spot actually is one of the main characters. It's a playful, funny nemesis who engages a lot with Mickey. It comes to life and it splatters all over the stage. It gets paint all over Mickey. Very comical. We're really looking at being inspired by those quality cartoons, the silly symphonies, the more mischievous and playful Mickey that we know from the animated world. So Mickey really has a lot of fun with this. Chases after the spot, wants to engage it, and the spot causes a little bit of trouble for Mickey. It sets the compass on the map spinning, and of course Mickey gets caught into it, and everything begins to transform around him, and we go into an incredible world, see if we have an image of it, which becomes the world of India, and it takes us into the Jungle Book, where we meet the characters from the Jungle Book, and a magical production number of I Want to Be Like You. Great classic Disney song. Throughout this, our map maker apprentices are kind of the ensemble. They're the course members, if you will, and they really bring everything to life with their paintbrushes. And you can see here in some of the concept art, the paintbrushes become palm trees and bring us into the world of India. Oversized drums and paint splatters really take up the percussion of the number. Monkeys and other characters come to life through the video, and of course some of our classic Disney characters that perform the song. Now at the end of this song, Mickey's hidden away in a little paintbrush, paint bucket up here, and he peeks out, and he wonders what's going on. He knows he's been transported. He wants to find that spot, and so he goes after the spot. They have another kind of playful, comic interaction, but this time he thinks he's got the spot. The spot appears underneath him, and suddenly Mickey falls into the spot, and very magically, Mickey becomes absorbed into the world of the map. And now we see Mickey inside of the map, and of course, this is a great opportunity for Mickey to become truly a cartoon character. All that squash and stretch and animation that we can do in a really fun and really magical way come to life. As that transitions, a beautiful waterfall starts to appear on the map and come down, and our ensemble begins to use their paintbrushes like a canoe, and we see Pocahontas appear out of the map, and we go into a lovely rendition of Just Around the River Bend. As Pocahontas begins to sing that, it transitions, and on the map we see gorgeous lotus blossoms, cherry blossoms flying across the screen, and now we reveal Mulan, and Mulan begins to sing Reflection. And then as Mulan sings part of Reflection, the map once again changes and the floating lanterns start to appear in another area of the map, and we welcome Flynn and Rapunzel, who perform I See the Light from Tangled. All of these three songs, even though the princesses are living in their separate area, begin to fuse musically into a beautiful number. I'm really excited for you to hear it. Our team's actually working on it right now, and it's kind of magical to hear all of these songs interweave in a really different, unique way. And it's a great moment to celebrate some of our Disney princess favorites who aren't necessarily going to be living in the fantasy fair. As this number comes to a close, Mickey's inside the map now with the spot, and he's more determined than ever to get this spot painted and to find this little spot. And he grabs the spot, and he kind of wrestles with it, he finally captures it, and it's like a water fight with the spot. The paint really becomes kind of amorphous and animated and magical. It starts splashing and splattering all over, and in fact it causes a little bit of a leak inside the map. And it starts to fill up with water and fill up with water, and just when Mickey thinks all is lost, of course Sebastian appears and welcomes us Under the Sea. And we go into a really over-the-top production number of Under the Sea with all the wonderful characters. Even Ariel, of course, makes a grand appearance in this number. It's quite lovely and fun and playful. There's a lot of interaction with the audience and bubbles and big wonderful moments throughout the production number. At the end of that number, Mickey and the spot have really come to kind of the ultimate payoff. And Mickey realizes that he can control the world of the map just like the mapmaker's apprentices, and then he can paint his way. So he manages to paint a series of stairs, and he finally captures the spot under a paint bucket. But he realizes that the spot really doesn't want to be painted, and they've been having so much fun on this adventure that Mickey starts to realize that maybe he's overdoing it, that maybe the spot should be left alone, that it doesn't really want to be painted. And the spot, of course, really responds to that and decides to take him on yet one more adventure, together this time. And this time, for the first time, Mickey actually enters the world of the production number, and we soar into a world of beautiful tropical island, and we're in a production number from Lilo and Stitch for Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride. This time, Mickey's actually embraced he and the spot as part of the number, and it's a really fun, over-the-top number that features Lilo and Stitch and all the characters from that wonderful film. At the end of that number, Mickey and the spot have really become great friends, and they're having a lot of fun. And we see Mickey being very absorbed into the number, and suddenly the spot starts to grow and grow and grow, and we realize that the spot's actually the pupil of Yen Sid's eye. And all along, Yen Sid has really been taking Mickey on this journey. In fact, it's really been a little bit of a challenge. And of course, Mickey has succeeded with flying colors, and Yen Sid rewards him by telling him that now he's proven himself and that he really is ready truly to be a mapmaker's apprentice. He gives Mickey, in a very big, sort of wonderful way, a golden paintbrush, and tells Mickey that now he can go on his own adventures and take all of us with him. And of course, Mickey decides that he wants to have one final wonderful adventure with all of us, and he begins to paint the set. The map begins to open up, and a beautiful steamboat made out of paintbrushes and different apparatuses appear in a magical way, and of course welcome us into the world of New Orleans, and one of my favorite production numbers of the show, which is Dig a Little Deeper from Princess and the Frog. So throughout this show we get to meet a lot of wonderful characters. I mean, at the end of it we really celebrate and realize that the spot really represents that great notion of Walt himself, that as long as there is imagination left in the world, we can go there, we can journey there with our own imagination. So that's our show. It's really a wonderful show intended for a family audience, children at heart. So I hope you'll get a chance to see it. I know we have some more reveals as we get closer to the opening date this summer. So thank you.